Okay, since CS2 is out now, we have to talk about the most important part of the game. Knives. Your choice in knife says a lot about you. Look, you see a guy with a bayonet lore, and you just know he's tall, handsome, and he has to have a big dick. Anyway, here's what your CS2 knife says about you. If you use the gut knife, you have to be one of two things. You're either a fisherman, or this is your first knife, because there's no way you've seen any other knife and continue to still use the gut knife. I mean, maybe the spinny animation, but like still, come on. If you use the Navaja knife, just stop using the Navaja knife. If you use the Paracord knife, you ignore red flags, because this knife is a whole ass red flag and you still use it. I mean, this shit looks like a ruler. If you use the Falchion Knife, you have pretty good taste on a budget. I mean, this knife is not that expensive, but I think it's one of the more aesthetically pleasing knives, except for the tail. But besides that, I like it. The animation when you spin it on your hand, it's kind of cool, I can't lie. If you use the Bowie Knife, you definitely drive a Ford F-150. You must be overcompensating for something, because this knife is way too fucking big. If you use the Huntsman Knife, honestly, this is a solid knife. I feel like you got to be a decent player to have this knife. It's not really like a budget knife, but at the same time, it kind of is. I feel like this knife gives a edgelord type of vibe, but that's just me. If you use the butt plugs, I swear to God, when I see my teammate with the shadow daggers, I just want to throw. I don't want to play the game. Alt F4. Like, I'm out. I know this guy's going to have no personality. He's going to say some stupid ass fucking jokes. Now, if you use the shadow daggers, fuck you. This is the most Joe Biden ass average run-of-the-mill knife I have ever seen. If you run this knife, you probably go to Home Depot like twice a week. You are old. If you use the flip knife, you have good taste. It's an OG knife, you're probably decent at the game, and pretty humble. Overall, W. If you run the Ursus knife, you're probably a UPS man, because this shit looks like box cutters. If you run a knife called Ursus, I really don't know what else to tell you. Speaking of imposter, if you have the Talon Knife, you are a fucking imposter. I don't know, man. You wish you were running a Karambit. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Here we have it. The Karambit. I mean, this is just a work of art. If you use the Karambit, you're a fucking goat. You are him. I know I'm winning the game when I see my teammate in the corner. Just... It's the best knife in the game, no question. If you use the Stiletto Knife, you wish you were in Peaky Blinders. You also may be old. Oh baby, do I even need to say much more? Look at that motherfucker flip. If you run this knife, you're probably cool as hell. You probably get all the girls. I mean, you probably make a lot of money. You probably are tall, handsome. If you run the M9 bayonet, you know what the fuck you're doing. Easily the most consistent players run this knife. You know this player's winning their ones. If you use the skeleton knife, you probably run it because it looks like a fidget spinner. Cool knife though. Makes you want to just like... Look, I don't know who the fuck buys this. You better have unboxed this piece of shit if it's in your inventory. This knife looks about flimsy as shit, man. If you have this knife, you're probably depressed. Now, if you use the butterfly knife, you probably have ADHD. But that's okay, because I also used to have a butterfly knife that I sold for $100 back in 2017. $100.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. But
if you run the butterfly knife, you're probably throwing because you get caught inspecting it every time you peek an angle. That was a fun little video, guys. Let me know in the comments what knife you guys run, and if you agree or disagree with any of my opinions. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and until next time, booze out.